Welcome to iHeart Geek. And welcome to another supplemental episode of iHeart Geek.
Hey, nice.
Oh, I like that. You listened to the show apparently because you knew to say woo.
That just came naturally. I don't know. That's all me.
I like to think that our show just comes naturally like that.
Of course. That's the best way to be.
I'm Dub, and with me as always is my partner in crime, my buddy Kaj. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing fine. How about you, my friend?
Not too bad. We are recording this on a lovely Sunday Father's Day morning, and we brought a special guest that we have been planning on for about a month.
Somewhere around there,
Somewhere around a month.
Yeah.
I've been super excited.
We have Carrie Schultens. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I am outstanding. You're in a different climate and all that. Is it nice over there, the weather, or is it like...
We've had some rain for the past few days, and it's finally cooling off a little bit. We've had a couple of steamy ones here.
Oh,
so,
that makes me that makes me wish I was there.
Just
Vegas,
the rain
the land
part?
of the cookie oven without the cookies, basically.
You could literally fry an egg on the sidewalk if you wanted to.
The only thing with Michigan, man, it's wet. It's always with the lake. It's always rainy.
Real big bugs.
Exactly right. That's the truth.
So, let's not bury the lead. You were a voice in Mass Effect.
Yes, I was.
How cool is that?
Oh my God, it was amazing. I entered that contest that they did. It was the Explorers Wanted contest, and I sent in my entry, and about a month later they contacted me, and then 3 weeks after that I was in Los Angeles. So it was, just wild, just a crazy once-in-a-lifetime experience.
So tell me about this contest. How'd you hear about it? What happened? I didn't hear about this contest, otherwise, I would have still lost. But
would have had one more entry, I bet. Basically what it was so funny. The timing was so weird because I had just played the Mass Effect games, and I'm all about BioWare. Like, I had played all the Dragon Age games. Like, I started gaming with like Knights of the Old Republic. Like,
yes,
you're old school.
And thank you, yeah. And so a buddy of mine had said, here, borrow them, play them now because you have to. And so I was like, yeah, okay. So I did. I pretty much just binged all of them, and almost like the next day or the next week or something really close, this contest, I was just kind of mindlessly scrolling through Facebook, and it said this thing about this Explorers Wanted contest, and it's like, submit your voice and maybe we'll put you in the game. And so I was like, huh. And I also happened to have, I had borrowed a microphone because I was working on a documentary for my master's project. I was working on my master's degree at the time. And so I'm like,
educated.
I had this, well, I like to think so. But yeah, so I had this microphone. Then this contest popped up. I'm like, well, like, it's all lined up. I might as well. And so I entered, and they had a couple of scripts online that you could read. And yeah, I read them, and lo and behold, here we are. So it was just crazy. It was so cool.
That's pretty. That's cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's how I wish actually auditions were. Like, hey, you want to try it? Okay, they like you. Cool. You don't have to have an agent. You don't have to go through all that crap. And
exactly.
Now you probably got an agent. You got to go through all that crap now.
Right.
I do now. Yeah, exactly right.
But now you can say, hey, I was on Mass Effect, so yeah, that's a good thing for me, right?
I'm not too proud to throw that around. I will say that.
Definitely.
When I was starting to get into the audiobook thing, there was kind of like, it wasn't an audition, but it was like an application process, and you basically had to say, like, what have you done? What makes you qualified to work for this? It's like, it's audible.com, or it's audible.com. They're all kind of one thing.
Right.
And I just said I was in Mass Effect, and they were like, cool.
You got the spot.
Done. Okay,
cool.
You've done this before.
They had me do a little, like, how's your home set up, and I had a decent microphone, and they were like, okay, you're in. So it was, I'm definitely not too proud to throw around Mass Effect. So
you shouldn't be.
So tell us about the process. Like, what do you do when you're going into voice for a video game? What do you actually go do?
So, I'm sure my experience was not what the average voice actor experiences when they're working on a video game. What we did that day was we went in at about 9:30, and Danielle Rain was in there recording lines for Vetra, which was really cool because I had seen the character Vetra, like I had seen concept art and stuff because I was following, I love Mass Effect, so I was following like the process and everything. But Danielle Rain had not been announced yet as her voice. So that was one thing that we had to keep super duper secret. And that's kind of when I knew the stakes were high, was when Caroline Livingstone, who was a doll, she was our voice director that day, turns to us and goes, "Put your phones away. You don't tweet anything. Don't post anything."
Wow.
And I'm not joking. And she was like she was a very like a bubbly person, but she got so serious when I was like, "Oh my God, cool, it's Danielle Rain." And no. And I just was like, and so I got to meet her, and then in walked Tom Taylorson, and then like 15 minutes after that, Frida Wolf, and most of the morning was us watching them do their thing, and they just kind of were hanging out. That seems like what they kind of do, is they just kind of go back and forth. They were never in the booth together. Okay. They were just one at a time, and so even when they were like in the building together, they didn't like record dialogue lines back and forth, which I found pretty interesting because like when you play the game, they're talking to each other, but they never talked to each other in real life. It was kind of cool. So anyway, then they threw us in, and I had no idea what character I'd be playing. I knew that I would not be playing the character I auditioned for because they told me that wasn't a real character in the game. That's just an audition. It's one we wrote for the contest. Now I found out later that wasn't all the way true because you know that what's her face? The Asari reporter that comes up to you in the game and have you guys played the game yet?
I have not.
It's okay.
I've watched somebody play.
It's cool. There you go.
I'm a bad person, I know.
So there is a reporter in the game who comes up to you and interviews you very, very much in the style and spirit of the old games. And by the way, her character's name is Carrie. I don't think that's a coincidence.
You're the inspiration, yo.
BioWare can say whatever they want. I think that's me. Anyway, whatever.
I think that's $1 million right there.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so then I went in and she told me I'd be playing a character named Jill and then a couple other minor parts. And it was funny when she said I'd be playing Jill because Frida had already offered to come into the booth with me just in case I needed anything, and she was so sweet. And she goes she turns to Caroline surprised, and she goes, "She's gonna be playing Jill, like Jill." And I was like, and Caroline goes, "Yeah, she is." And Frida goes, "Oh, good for you." And that, nice. Oh my God. And that was when I was freaking out on the inside because it was just because I knew kind of then that it was fairly big. And I found out later that they had already had another girl record for this part. And so I had to and just, I don't know, the devs wanted to go in another direction. And so I had to re-record her lines timed perfectly because they had already programmed the character's mouth.
The lip flaps and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to go in and redo her stuff without matching her voice, but matching her pace. And that was hard. So I did that. And then I did just a couple little minor parts. I'm with one character I am is right when you start the game, it's the tutorial missions, and I'm like, you have to investigate this or the whole ship could explode or something like that, and that's me. And then I play a multiplayer character. So yeah, right.
Well, do you have to know the other two games in order to actually enjoy the new one, or
no? And that's the one thing that I really did appreciate about this one is that it nods to the fans of the series perfectly, in my opinion. There are things in there that a true fan would really go, "Oh yeah, sweet." They mentioned ... But then it is so accessible as well to people who have never played one before. And I really thought that was cool. A person just picking up the series can start at Andromeda. Okay. And that's, I like that a lot.
So tell me about your process. How do you, I know voice actors have kind of their own process as opposed to, stage actors or whatever. How do you find these characters? Because you've been doing this a lot more, so you can't just use your voice anymore.
Sure,
so
right.
How do you find the character?
Well, I always ask for a little bio if I can get one. I'm working right now on a mod for Fallout that this guy's putting together for Fallout New Vegas. And nice. So there's I always do ask for a bio, and that does help. Like, I need to know how old the character is. I need to know, like, what do they do for a living? Because, like, like for instance, I had a soldier and a combat medic that I was playing, and so a combat medic is going to just be kind of like a normal voice, a little bit more smooth and whatever. But like, I feel like a soldier would be like yelling a lot, or maybe a smoker, or that kind of thing.
In the back.
That'll add a little bit of gravel to it, and so. Like, those little adjustments are so important. And as I'm doing audiobooks, I've found that there's sometimes in these audiobooks 20, 25 different characters I need to play. And so they all have to be different. And I have to take notes. like what's the pitch? What's the accent? Like that kind of stuff. Do they smoke? Does he always sound like he's pissed? That kind of thing. So that's the process, and then a lot of tea and a lot of green apples.
Are you playing a lot of males?
I play a fair amount in the audiobooks, yeah.
Really?
Really?
Which is it's kind of nice. I do have I've come to terms with this, a decently deep voice for a woman, and so the nice thing about that is that I can kind of go back and forth.
Can you kind of give us a sample of that?
Oh, God.
Am I putting you on the spot here?
Sure. I'm just trying to think. Oh, there's this one. Okay, so there's this one that I play in a book that I'm doing right now called A Lesser Evil by a guy named Daniel Satani, and he's a special agent, but he's just kind of a jerk, like kind of like. So I'm thinking kind of like he's sort of like a used car salesman kind of guy, and just. And that's him. Like, that's his like cocky nature, and I can't think of anything else to say right now. But yeah, it's just, you just lower it just a little bit, and then it's so much about like, that kind of, you got to think of an archetype in your head. So for him, it's always used car salesman in my brain. Or like, there's this other one that I'm playing, and I will not do this one on camera. He's a Scotsman.
He's a Scotsman?
And he is, oh my God, he is a frighteningly awesome guy, and so he's really gruff and really deep and Scottish. So that's I do what I can. The guy who writes that book is a Scotsman, and so it's he's
hard.
like it's hard, and that's what he says. He's like he says he can still pick up like little things that are off, but that the normal listener, like, he's like, you're fine, you're perfect. So I'm just like, okay, he's so understanding, and so I just do my best. So, but yeah, no, it's a lot of different ranges and stuff. There's one book that I'm doing where I had to do this girl when she was little, and then when she was like a teenager, and then when she was a young woman. And so that was just little changes, and that's kind of that was kind of an interesting process. So yeah, that's a fun process right there. Actually, playing the same character at different ages. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and then oftentimes I get like a character and her mother. So like, I'll know that the mom is just going to be just a smidge deeper, but basically the same voice. I play a girl and her mother, the mother who is a lifetime smoker. So just a little bit of rasp in that one, but basically again the same voice. So it's it's just, those are things you think about,
So, naturally speaking, you have the Midwestern accent. How do you lose that just on a whim? Because in general, I know you can't have that.
Yeah. The only thing that really is the marker for the Midwestern accent is we say everything in our nose. So like the way we say mom and like hot, like that vowel is all up here. So like, yeah, right. So basically if I'm doing anything else or just going for like what they call general American, is I just bring it kind of back into my throat a little bit more, or deeper into my mouth. And just kind of really focus on not saying things through my nose. But I actually am fairly lucky I'm Midwestern, because I'm not from Boston. I'm not from the South.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Right.
My accents as they go, Midwest is pretty easy to flub if you need to.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's, I really, most of the time I just talk if I'm just narrating, and usually it's fine. So yeah.
Well, the only reason I know is just because I'm listening for it, but it's like, okay, that's
well, yeah, no, and I'm sure it is distinctive. And as you drive south, you kind of start to hear it's almost funny, like, because this is where everything is in the Midwest, and the further south you go on the map, the further south the tone goes too. So So yeah, that's it's just a little bit different.
Well, like speaking of your accent and everything, with being a teacher, like with when before the game came out and you came back to your class and everything, could you tell your students anything about that, or did you have to? Did they make a non-disclosure?
Are you their hero now?
Yeah. Well, let's be real. I was their hero before.
Oh, I love
Yes.
you. Okay.
That's good teachering right there. That's
No, I could. It was funny. I was telling them a lot more before I left than after I got home, because I was like, yeah, I'm going to be doing this, and this is the guy's name that I'm working with, and this is that, blah, blah, blah. And then I got home and I was like, I can't say anything.
and they're all
So
looking at you in bated breath, like, please just give us a nugget of
know.
information.
and that was the funniest thing, because like I couldn't say what characters I played. I could say that I met Tom. I could say that I met Frida. I could not say that I met Danielle. I could tell them that I was in LA, but I couldn't say the studio that I was at. Like a lot of different things. It was weird. And so I remember when the game came out, I was pestering Sean Trainer, who was lovely. He was my contact at BioWare. I was like, kind of like, am I free? Can I say stuff? Like, you know. And finally he was like, yep, now you can say whatever you want. I was like, sweet. And so so then I was finally able to tell my kids everything, and they thought it was rad. And it's just, it was really a cool thing to get to share with them.
Nice. Now, when they picked up the game, did they pick you out almost instantly? Or?
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, one of the characters I play is like in the first 10 minutes of the game. Like when that first 13 minutes came out, like when they were still doing like little featurettes on the production and everything. They released the first 13 minutes of the game, and I was in that. And so like that was something, even like before people had the game, I was able to like show and be like, not saying I'm in this clip. I'm just saying I think you should really listen. And that one is basically just me shouting, which at the time I coach girls basketball. And so, that's what I do is I yell. And so it was a fairly distinctive voice, and so they were able to pick me out pretty quickly.
I heard, or I saw on one of the videos that you're on that Voldemort Origins.
Oh,
yeah,
you are?
I'm Grisha.
Yeah.
You are everybody's hero right now.
No,
This just, honestly, our entire fan base just jumped up and like, what?
Because of you, the new Voldemort Origins is being made. Yes, that's all you.
And they recently just got the okay from Warner Brothers, so it is happening. And
Nice.
So that was
we get an autograph, right? Sent to us?
Of course, please. Of course. So I didn't know how that one would be. Like, I just was like, okay. I work with Casting Call Club, which is a website that gets a lot of like little gigs, and they had this Harry Potter thing. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Like, the fandoms are in high supply there. Like, there's a lot of Harry Potter projects, there's a lot of Fallout projects, etc. And so I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I'll do this. And so I did, and they got it, and they contacted me, and they were like, yeah, we would like you to do the voiceover for Grisha. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I did it, and I didn't even know when the trailer came out, because there was this influx of it went viral like almost instantly. And so I just was scrolling through Facebook one day, and I was like, oh, cool, that's that thing I'm in. And I played it, and I was like, oh, like, and I was, yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, that's who I am. Like, cause it was like, it said Grisha McLagan supporting. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, and so I started doing the lines, not knowing at all how big it would be. And then it got like 42 million views or something crazy. And like, it went totally viral. And so yeah, that was cool. And I'm still going to be working on that.
Totally. Yeah. Congrats. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Yeah. That one, it's all the actors in there are Italian, so they can speak English well enough to like get the mouth motion correct. But then they're having English voice actors, redo it. Or dub it. Yeah. And so I'm going to be Grisha.
So is this going to be, you're looking at more of a career now. are you stepping away from the teaching thing? Is this what you're doing? I'm sorry, you probably get asked this a lot and probably can't answer, but
No, I get it a lot, but it's one that I struggle to answer. I can if I had an answer, but I'm not sure I do. That's hard because I really love teaching. I love teaching. It's awesome, and the kids are great, and I love coaching, and I love it. But like it's Hollywood, you know. It's like it's every little girl wants to. I want to grow up and be an actress, and that's not something that I ever really got to do. When I was in high school, I played sports, and with the time commitment the way it was, you kind of had to just choose: were you going to do sports or were you going to do drama? And I always wanted to do drama, but like I also love sports, and so
you're
this
from the
is
Midwest, of course.
Is right, yeah. So it's kind of my outlet, and now I'm getting a chance to kind of try this thing that was like one of my regrets, you know. And so I love this too. And so right now, thank God, I'm not in a position where I need to make that choice.
Right.
But you're getting close.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a hard question to answer. I'm sorry.
Ride the wave. Ride the wave. No, I'm to go for it. Jump on it.
Yeah, that's ride the wave is exactly the way I'm treating it. You know, just see where it goes, and maybe something will come of this, and maybe nothing will. And I just had Day in Audio. They're out of California somewhere. I think they're out of Los Angeles, but they contacted me about putting me on their roster, and that's an agency that's won like 5 Emmys and been Grammys rather, and been nominated for 12 more. Like, so again, little things like this, like something could come of it, nothing could come of it, but you just kind of ride the wave, see what happens. Yeah,
absolutely. Besides the audiobooks, anything down the pipeline?
What's on the agenda?
Yeah, like I said, right now I'm working pretty hard on the Fallout mod that I was talking to you guys about. It's Frontier, which is kind of a Fallout New Vegas Frontier. And so it's pretty massive, and it has a fair fan following right now. And so I'm working on a thing for that. Let's see. And then mainly the audiobooks. I'm working on 6 audiobooks this summer. So I'm almost done with 2 of them, and I'm just kind of
talking to us right now.
A lot of shredded and a lot of honey and a lot of green apples.
and the Coke on the side, and the Coca-Cola on the side.
Coca-Cola
on the side.
The other one's
nondescript cola product. But anyway, just reading, and that's my gig this summer, and that's how I'm making a little bit of extra money. And so just see what happens. And then whenever the Triangle people get back to me, I'm going to keep reading for Grisha. So
nice,
beautiful.
So yeah, a lot of little things. So
wow,
yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we got to wrap up. There's a couple questions I want to ask you after we get off the air, but I can't.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not going to put it out over everything.
Extra stuff.
That's me.
Web exclusive.
So, just to kind of close up, can you let everybody know where they can get a hold of you and all your social media and all that fun stuff, unless there was something else we had to get?
Oh,
because I see my partner here, and he's really good about not letting me miss stuff.
I saw a little video clip of Jill.
Yeah,
and talking about it, so we wanted to say like, well, that's a wrap. We should wrap this up before she makes us want to reverse our chemical procreation blockers.
Reverse chemical procreation blocking, baby.
Nice.
No, you guys can get in contact with me on Twitter. I'm just Carrie Schultens. On Facebook, I'm Carrie Schultens. My email is carrieschultensvo@gmail.com. You can find me there. As far as the spelling, I'm sure these guys will put it in the description.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then, I think that's about it. So I'm everywhere. I'm like the wind. Just Google
everywhere. Me. Ooh, you sound like us.
Right,
there you go.
All the casting directors that listen to our show, please, yes. Carrie Schultens, yeah, she's on our page too, yes.
Yes, I have I'm tethered to these guys now also. So.
Outstanding. So, until next time, I'm Dub.
I'm Kaj.
I'm Carrie.
Keep on geeking on.
You've been listening to iHeartGeek. Our Twitter account is @iHeartGeekShow. Hope you enjoyed the show.